I feel like I'm a bit close to the screen, but never mind.
Hello. We're here. We're here. We've had a little bit of a tech nightmare, but we are actually here. We had a little bit of trouble getting Vicky to join us, but no, that way. There she is. Hi, Vicky. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know it's been troublesome and tiresome to get here.
Oh yes, you know what I'm like with tech as well. So yeah, I did just had 20 minutes of stress, but I'm chilled now. Chilled.
Breathe.
I'm breathe. Yes.
So, it's lovely for you to join us today, and I know that lots and lots of people have been super interested in having you on and all of your information and hints and tips and advice for retail and product-based businesses. So if you are joining us live, please do come in and say hi. Please let us know that you're here, because that would be super duper to see who's around, because we've got viewers on there. And could we start off with a little bit of how you got to be the sparkly retail biz queen? What is your path to here?
Oh my goodness. Oh, how long have we got?
Let's just chat. Let's see where we go.
Just chat. Yeah, it's not one of those questions. Okay, well, I got into retail, into buying about 20 years ago when I was just a young pup. And my first job was working for Matalan. And that was really at the very, very start of the business, the boom in discount retail. They were the first big player in the market. I took the job thinking, I'll just stay there for a little bit. I don't really want to work for Matalan. I want to work for Next or M&S or BHS or whatever. I'm going to move to London. Anyway, fast forward sort of 6 or 7 years, and I stayed there for 7.5 years. Progressed up the career ladder. Had a whale of a time, absolute whale of a time. Loved every second. Did a lot of travelling. Started going to China. Went to the States quite a lot, and that really was the place that I cut my teeth in buying, and really started to understand how important product development was, sourcing from the right suppliers, negotiation. Because it was a discount retailer, it was like super important that the buyers actually sort of did their job of squeezing the suppliers down as much as possible. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to offer the product at a discount price. So I kind of learned to be this kind of real sort of brutal negotiator. Got myself a bit of a reputation, but that was just what I was paid to do. So it got to, I've been there about 7.5 years, and I don't know whether I got this 7-year itch or whatever. I also just got married as well. And then our chief exec asked me, would I move to another retailer, Pound Stretcher? So when somebody who's a multimillionaire asks you to move to a company and he sort of literally handpicked you, you don't really say no, do you? So I went there for a couple of years. Didn't stay there as long as I thought, because it was a really, really big commute. It was sort of a 90-mile round trip every day, and started to think about family and things like that. So I started to kind of put feelers out, and then I got approached to go and work for Home Bargains, everybody's favourite retailer. And again, I was a little bit like, I don't know if I want to go and work there, but I did, and I loved it there, and that was very different because it wasn't as corporate as the other two retailers, and that was a bit of a free-for-all. You could plan your own diary, spend your own budgets, pretty much buy whatever I wanted to. So it was a bit of a buyer's dream. Mm-hmm. And in that role, you had to kind of do everything. The buyers had to do everything themselves. You didn't have these big teams of people around you like we had at Matalan Pound Stretcher. So I kind of got into the nitty gritty of buying and importing. So I had to understand what was needed for packaging, because I didn't have a designer, what was needed for safety, because we didn't have a QA team, shipping, we didn't have a shipping team. So I started to understand about bringing products in on containers, spent time hanging around at docks and places like that to sort of understand, how much stuff can you get on these containers, and all the different ports around, Asia, and where was the quickest, what the quickest vessels were, and you got excited when you got notification that your vessel had left and when it arrived in Southampton, and working with customs and all that kind of stuff. So that was the real place that kind of embedded my experience to do everything yourself. Mm-hmm. So again, I stayed there about 7 years just to kind of get this 7-year itch thing. And then by that time I'd got married and had two children, so I was sort of working part-time. And then I got approached to work a totally different sector, to go and work for Liverpool Football Club. So, this is the girl that... Fan? Well, I'd never been to a football match.
All right.
My husband and all my family are Liverpool fans, because where I live is in between Liverpool and Manchester, so we could have gone either way. Could have gone Everton, could have gone Liverpool, but anyway, everyone was really pleased I went to Liverpool. And I accepted the job there, but that was a really, really big job. That was the head of the buying and trade division. And so I was buying everything apart from players. And there was a lot to do there. We had a complete rebrand. I was involved with an international retail scheme, licensing program, just really bringing up the product we did. I was involved in the kit sponsor changeover, because it'd been Adidas for a long time. We moved to a new sponsor, so that was really interesting, and it was really good to get involved with a brand and a license and understand the difference in these massive margins. Mm-hmm. And I stayed there for about 3 years, and kind of burnt out really at the end of that, because it was an awful lot of travel, an awful lot of long hours. I was doing a trip somewhere every month for about 18 months. So every time the suitcase came out, the kids were like, "Oh, where are you going now?" And there's probably lots of people on here going, "Oh, that's why you kind of, moaning about that." But it's not as all glamorous as you think, and there was a lot of a lot of hard work, a lot of late nights, and it just being away from home when you've got 2 young children is pretty hard. So I'd kind of done what I set out to do, and finished there, and thought, right, what am I going to do now? Took a few months off, and then decided I wanted to work for myself, and that was a couple of years ago. I've kind of I've been self-employed fully, and kind of took a few contracts on. I did a contract last year for BBC Children in Need, and that is, I'll hold my hands up. It's because I took these contracts on because I've had the wobbles and thought, oh no, I can't do this, I can't make it work, I can't build a business out of this, I don't know what I'm doing, and how am I going to cope money wise and all this. So that took me to sort of the end of last year, and then I got to the end of last year and I thought, do you know what, there's some mileage in this. There's a lot of businesses out there that I can work with. I started to see my knowledge as a kind of product, and it was then that kind of I sort of bombarded into your life and thought, right, how can I turn this into a service and product? So really, I've sort of spent the first 6 months of this year in kind of putting together a lot of content, sort of working out who my crowd is, without really selling anything. And you can tell me off for that, because I've got a lovely website and I've got loads of stuff going on Facebook, selling one thing, other than people contacting me about one-to-one work. So that's evolved, and that to me has been a real big learning curve, and that's what a lot of all my clients are going through. They are kind of thinking, I want to sell this product, but how am I going to reach this market? And I'm going through exactly the same thing, thinking, right, how can I target that market, and what can I sell to them, and how can I make it easy for them to buy from me, and all the things that I teach everybody else. I now need to kind of put all that into practice, and so that kind of brings me up to where I am now, and I'm just at the point of launching a couple of products and some free stuff, and kind of putting myself on this pathway to turning my little Facebook page into a business, really. So
when you
that's that in a nutshell.
When you look out there and you look at the retail space, what are you seeing happening right now?
It's really tough out there for all retailers. June, July, and August is notoriously difficult in terms of retail, unless you're selling inflatable paddling pools and garden furniture and the sun's cracking the flags, bikinis and things like that. Then if you are selling general merchandise, homewares, gift, food, drink, craft, whatever, it's a really, really difficult time of year. And it always has been. It's just that if the weather's fantastic, people don't want to be mooching around the shops. They don't want to be trawling around the internet. They kind of are shopping at the moment on a need to have basis rather than a browsy basis. The whole thing with Brexit, the elections, just all of that just causes a massive amount of uncertainty. And I just keep telling people on my Facebook page, it's just something that we've got to ride through. We've got all these price increases from the dollar rate, from the pound weakening against the dollar. That's just having up to 20% effect on cost prices. The only thing I can say about that is that everybody knows about it. So the general public, they're aware of these, that what's happened to the pound against the dollar. So when you tell, so when you talk to your customers, you can say it's all Brexit and everything, and they kind of can associate that. But when we've had price increases for various different reasons in the past, like we've had a cotton crisis, we've had oil crisis, we've had copper crisis, and that affects products indirectly. But you can't sit there and say to your customer, well, my baby grows have gone up because there's been an oil crisis in China. They just don't get that. But with Brexit, I think they do, because they're kind of reading the newspapers and they kind of see what's going on. So yeah, it's a case of just getting through these next 2-3 months, jumping on any trends if you can, capitalizing on the weather if you've got any sort of seasonal product in your business, and starting to plan for the autumn. Really, you kind of burrow yourself away in your plans and your targets and your strategy there, so that you can launch September and be ready to get out there.
Yeah. So what do you see, when you are working with clients, and getting involved with retail businesses? What do you see are kind of the biggest, I don't want to say mistakes, I want to say sort of easy wins? Where are they missing a trick without it being underhand?
One of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of people on Facebook, when obviously social media is a massive part of retail now. So we all know about what kind of posts we need to put on social media. We need to mix it up. We need to get our crowd talking and things. But when their product on there, they often make it a bit of a treasure hunt for customers to kind of get, to buy that product. They'll put it up, put a nice image on there and a little blurb about it, but then they don't put the price, they don't put a link, they don't put, details of size and availability. Or the most irritating ones that you see is, someone will go, well, how much is this? PM me. And you're just like, why would anybody want to go to, what are you hiding? That's the first thing that I wonder. What are you hiding that you don't, are your prices different according to different people that are messaging you? Or just make it easier for them. Post on the price, if there's any postage included. If it's not in stock till a week on Tuesday, tell them. Just manage their expectations, but make it easy for them to buy. And the same in your store, when you see products and they've not got a price on. I mean, yourself, you go into a boutique or something and you kind of like discreetly kind of look at the label to see whether it's in your price range or not, and there's no price on there. And then you just kind of think, I'm not going through the embarrassment of asking and not wanting to pay. But be confident and price your products and make sure it's nicely displayed, and make sure that the customer knows exactly all the information about the product that you can give them. Not saying you don't want to encourage them to have a conversation. You want them to at least get all the facts first before they start to engage in a conversation. And there's a lot of research been done for the high street stores, for people with physical stores, that about shoppers go into those stores because they like the interaction with shop owners. They like to have a chat with them. They like to, once the ice is broken, they like to be able to go down and know that they can have a chat with the lady who owns, the craft store, because that's what she knows about, and will ask her opinion, or go into your local butcher because the butcher knows the best cuts of meat to offer you, and that kind of thing. So yeah, it is just make it easy for them. Don't send them on a bit of a treasure hunt to find out how the heck they buy your product.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you seeing more and more product-based businesses moving away from bricks and mortar, or do you find that they either get stuck in one or the other? They either are completely online or they are just bricks and mortar?
I think small businesses tend to start off online because there's less overheads, unless it's something that like a craft business or a skill or something. Then they tend to start off with craft stalls, market stalls, or and then move into premises. Having premises is a really big step. And it's a big plunge for people to do. You see more people having a shop and moving away from that and going online than you do the other way around, which is a shame. Hopefully there will be, with this government, a little bit more of an initiative for small businesses to set up on high streets and bring back the high street sort of community, that kind of thing. But yeah, it is a big step. There's more new online businesses than there are new bricks and mortar businesses starting up. But I do hope that will change. I mean, look at Amazon. Big news this week is Amazon, purely online. They've just bought a multi-billion-pound deal buying Whole Foods in the States so that they can have physical stores. Now, I always watch Amazon, and they never put a foot out of place. So if they're wanting to get onto the high street, there's something that in it really to be aware of and watch.
Mm-hmm. And I think that, I suppose, it's the change of consumer habits. And there's certain shops that I go to that are in my locality, but everything else comes to my door.
Mm. Yeah.
We've probably got really lazy as consumers, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, in terms of internet shopping, I think in order to make yourself stand out from the crowd, you have to establish your USP, your unique selling point. You have to go that extra mile with customer service. Things like when you buy from, Dorothy Perkins online, for example, and you've got a query, can you find a phone number on that site? You've got to send an email or some random chat thing, and and that personal touch is gone. So small businesses can jump in on that, offering a bit more of a personal service, interacting with their comments on Facebook and stuff, and also going that extra mile when you are dispatching an order, a little handwritten note in there, or putting in a little bit of a freebie, gift wrapping, asking them to like and share, spread the word kind of thing. Tell them that you're a small business. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you're professional, who cares whether there's just you packing those goods on your living room floor or whether there's 50 of you in a warehouse? The customer doesn't care about that. All the customer cares about is what their product is, and then they got it. They got it on time, it looks nice, and they got good value for money. And if you can deliver all of those things, you're competing with the big boys. You might not feel like you are, but you are. And it's all scalable as well. If you've suddenly got 5,000 orders, could you cope with it? Sort of thing. But on a relative scale, if you capitalize on that tiny portion of that market, and you grow that yourself organically, then you know you're doing something right.
It's an interesting concept, because I think that there's been a lot of occasions where people have had, you know, that kind of flash in the pan, really quick success, and that's cost them quite dearly in their business.
Yeah. I've seen businesses that have grown too quickly and lost control of like their costs, and they've thought, oh, I get 10 other versions of that and put it out there. And it's just about taking a deep breath and monitoring what's going on in the market, not rushing, too far ahead, because you've got, if you put your products on your website, you've got money tied up in that stock. So you want to just make sure that what you're spending on stock is the right product and it will sell. Like jumping on trends is always one to be cautious of, because it's kind of getting in on that trend at the right time, but also getting out of the trend at the right time.
I've out now, isn't there?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you'd have bought them 6 months ago, you could have sold them for £6-7. Now, they're pound lines, aren't they? So it is just getting in there at the right place, right time, and getting out at the same concept as well.
Cool. So if you are looking at, sort of the top advice for retail businesses, what would you say was kind of your real top tips when it comes to retail businesses?
Okay. For all businesses, you've got to get out there and research on a regular basis. Don't bury yourself away, be all consumed in your business. Get out there, search online if some of your competitors are online. Get out in the high street and see what everybody's doing. And what in the retail world, the term's called bent, and people who follow me on my page are probably sick to death of me going on and on about it, but it's such a big part of your what you should be doing on a regular basis. It's the equivalent to kind of tinkering with SEO on your website. How that's like a constant thing. You've got to constantly give it some love and attention. In terms of research and benchmarking, you've got to keep out there all the time, and otherwise you miss what's going on. You miss what your competitors are doing. And it's not just looking at your competitors, it's looking at the aspirational brands in your market. So if, for example, you sold fashion, and you were mid-market, you were on a level with Zara or whatever, you'd be making sure that you look at the retailers below you in the market, so the likes of Primark and Matalan, and the discounters, the groceries as well, looking at Tesco and the Sainsbury's ranges, but also look at what's going on above. Look at what's going on in all your big, your designer brands, your department stores, just so you're aware at both ends of the market what exactly is going on. So yeah, I mean, it can just be an hour or so every weeks. Just get out there, see what's happening, see what they're doing with the marketing strategy. If they're doing any promotions, if they've got any new products that they're launching, make some little notes. And also it's good to refer on for in a year's time. You might be sitting here next year, your sales are a bit lower but look back on your notes and see what you were doing, see what the weather was like, see what your competitors were doing, and you can put some of those strategies in place as well. So that would be my big one. After that, it's all about planning. It's making sure that you've planned what you're going to do. At this time of year, you should know really what your strategy is right up until Christmas Eve. So you should know what you're do we mention the C word?
You've just done it. You've just seen
it. I know. There's all those memes around everywhere, isn't it? 25 Saturdays to Christmas and all that. But in retail, it's it's a non-stop. It is just non-stop. You've got to be thinking about Christmas all the time. So Christmas, for I would say 95% of businesses, it's where the bulk of your sales are going to come in that last quarter. And so 95% of your time should be spent on planning that. So at this time of year, you should know what stock you've got coming in, or what stock you're going to make, or whatever, and know when you're going to launch that. You really need a critical path so that you know what months you're going to do a soft launch, and then when you're going to go big bang launch. Are you going to do any promotions? Are you going to do any markdowns? Are you jumping in on Black Friday, Cyber Monday? All to kind of have ticking over, and then once you sort of get to October, November, you need to review your plans, because you're in the middle of the season, and don't just set these plans in stone and then go away and forget about them. Again, throughout the season, you should be going out benchmarking, seeing what everyone else is doing, and then you can tweak and adapt your plans accordingly. And then my last top tip would be about knowing your figures. Know how much stock you've got in your business at any one time. Know what your sales are on a weekly basis, monthly basis, and what your targets are, and where at the end of every week or every month, know where you came against those targets. Know what your stock figure is at the end of the week or end of the month. Know what you've got what stock you've got coming in. So how much are you likely to, what you're going to have to fork out in the next month or so. And other stats, like knowing what your average spend is, what your average selling price is, what the threshold is to tempt your customers to spend more. So if you're thinking of doing a free postage offer, and you know that your customers on average spend £15, don't do a free postage at £15, because they're already spending the £15. You need to do free postage on slightly higher, to encourage them to pop something else in their basket and spend that extra £5 to get your average basket up, so that they're spending more money with you. So I'd kind of just look at things like that, little tricks and psychological habits, really.
That buy something that they don't want in order to avoid postage.
Yes.
Yeah. I am that person. I do that. Yeah. I don't want to pay the postage. I will buy something that I don't need, I don't want, I have no desire for, that spends more than the actual postage cost, just to avoid paying the postage. I am that person.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, that and you're in the majority there, Emma. You're not in the minority. But that's the psychological thing. You don't want to pay £3 to get that sent by parcel force. You would rather spend £3 on a knitted tea cozy, but at least you feel like you've got something. Yeah.
If I don't have a teapot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a funny one, isn't it? I've popped the link into your brand new 10 ways to supercharge your retail sales.
Oh, thank you. Plug.
In there are more in-depth ways for you to start to look at these things, aren't there? And I think that a lot of what you're saying is that knowledge is power. And so often retail businesses are getting bitten on the bum because they don't know their numbers.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and because in our communities on in the hub and on my page, our crowds are people like you and I that have decided to become self-employed, and they may or may not have a lot of retail experience. They're kind of starting a business from nothing. They've got a snack and some kind of knowledge up there, but specific retail stuff can be sometimes where they go, oh, I don't know what I'm doing and things. So when I wrote that freebie, and it has taken me like 6 months to write the freebie, I did find myself typing and going into a lot of detail to kind of get you kick started. So you could use it as a starter manual to get you up and running. And then, if you want more in-depth stuff, if you want more training and things, then, obviously I'm your gal. But, it turned into something like, 14 pages of A4. And, but
I've read it. It's really good.
But if I'd just gone very, very top line, I don't think you would. I think it needed to be explained in more detail, each of the points as to why I'm telling you to do this, and how you can get the best out of following those 10 action points. So it's worth it. Some stuff people may know, some stuff hopefully will will revolutionise their businesses. But for the sake of giving yourself time to have a brew and plough through the 14 pages and a couple of videos and a spreadsheet, then it's definitely worth a little browse with a brew.
Oh, do you know what? You've told people that they need to go shopping and they need to have a brew. I'm loving this. Loving it. You need to go shopping. You need to have a brew. So I am going to open
and then the reward is if you do supercharge your sales, I'll give you permission to L.
So, who would like to ask any questions, either to me or to Vicky? We're here. I'm going to go through some of the comments while we wait for some questions coming in. We've got Lisa says it's been a tough June for her. Can't wait for September. I'm hoping to move online more. Premises are so expensive now. The one thing that just completely popped into my head there is, can we have a summer holidays survival pack from Lisa, where there is a number of different products that I can just pull out throughout the holidays as a ta-da, or a wet weather thing, as though it's absolutely piddling down there. School holiday wet weather pack, where again, it's something there that I can just ta-da.
Yeah, especially if she marketed it and made it really easy for mums to buy, and says, ideal for your or ideal for your preschoolers, or ideal, and really bundle some stuff together for 3 different age groups. Maybe one, try and keep it unisex so that people who've got boys and girls can so you're not sort of putting too many SKUs together. But just, this is what you get. Ideal for little girls or boys who love craft, and, for 20-25 quid for a little bundle of stuff that is sent to me through the post, I don't have to trawl down to Smith's or Q in Argos or whatever, then definitely.
And when you think how much we spend to go to the cinema on a wet day, it's maybe what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And says, I looked at other retails yesterday and feel super proud about my little shop and the care and quality I put into my products. Fantastic. Lisa says, I haven't done my sales strategy yet for September onwards. I'm short of money for stock and it scares me. So it's about really utilising the stock that she's got, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Getting the money in from the stuff that's sat on a shelf.
Yes. Is this the toy? Is this Lisa Lancaster toy? Yeah. So unless she's talking about licensed products, I think she does a lot of like wooden toys and sort of moving away from the plastic crap and all that. So she's probably got an awful lot of product on her shelves. Now, she sees it every day, so to her, she's going, oh my God, I've had this for ages. But with a little bit of, pizzazz in, with, maybe slightly different angles for photography, different copy, putting together little like bundles we've just talked about, those kind of things, then and for her as well, it's all about convenience with her customers. So can she gift wrap them for free? Can she chuck a roll of a pack of Christmas paper in the parcels as well? So as soon as that box arrives, mums, dads, or whoever can wrap those presents and get them in the loft out of the way coming up to Christmas. So I think it's you do tend to, if you're sat looking at that stock day in, day out, you look at it and think, oh, I'm sick of it all. But actually, you've got lots and lots of potential buyers out there and they've not seen all your lovely stuff. It's just a case of lifting it out and around with some different photos and things and relaunching it, because things like that, they don't date. Licensed stuff does. The latest Minions film or whatever, that's great while the film's out, but when that's kind of gone to DVD or whatever, then it's dated a little bit. But generic stuff, no, it can sell all day long, really.
Cool. Let's see what else. They're saying that they love a rainy day survival pack. Fantastic. Does anybody else want to ask us anything while we're here? Yvonne says, I have a well-being type of business. When would be the soonest to start mentioning Christmas gift vouchers and any other ideas for my lovely clients? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Do you want me to go first?
Go on then.
Okay, I would, well-being, you don't want to start whipping them into a bit of a stress and a frenzy by talking about Christmas in July and August. But the big turning point for people to start for customers to start thinking about Christmas is early September, when the kids go back to school. So I would start to just very, very kind of softly and subtly start mention, the C word in terms of what they can buy from the beginning of September. If it's things like gift vouchers, if it was a savings club or something that they may, it may take a little bit longer to, like packages or something that was spa days or whatever, that may need a little bit of building up to in terms of savings, then you could probably start mentioning that in August. But really, as soon as your darling kiddie's back to school, that's when it kicks in. Oh my God, it's autumn, I've got to start thinking about Christmas, and it starts to ramp up, and you'll start to see bloody selection boxes in Tesco's in the 10th of September.
Absolutely. I think that when you look at what you're doing, Yvonne, and your wellness, and like you say, Christmas, it can be about looking at if they need payment plans, having that start earlier. But perhaps there are some physical products that go with those too, from a wellbeing perspective. Perhaps you can team up with another local business to offer a bit more of a package, and there are other ways that you can bring together more exciting Christmas presents, and really just then start to talk about them. Anne says, would you start drip feeding gift sets, gift ideas, etc. in September, maybe every other day, to get them out there without mentioning the C word?
Yeah, same sort of answer really as the last one. Yeah, I would start off with your kind of your £10, £15 gift sets in September, building up to your big, big luxury boxes or whatever a little bit later on. But yeah, even if they were just sort of behind the scenes posts for Anne, I'm looking at these, looking at special tissue papers for my gift boxes. Oh look, I've got a new supplier on gift tags, or a new supplier on baskets and boxes and whatever, and start to show them things like that, show them that you're developing those products. So it's kind of not a big hard sell, but you're starting to chip away at your customer into their minds, Christmas. It does also work when you tell them that you've only got a limited amount. You'll only be having 25 of these gift sets, or you'll only have X amount available, limited edition, that kind of thing. So those kind of things are all quite good for call to action, because it puts a bit of urgency in the minds as well.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that, and I think that some people are bloody proud that they finish their Christmas shopping in October. I've got loads of people on my timeline last year who were showboating about finishing their Christmas shopping. And I'm ridiculous. It's my little boy's birthday on Monday, and nothing. He doesn't even tell me what he wants. Nothing. So, some people are really, really, really super organised and want to be buying at that time of year as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So any more? Yvonne says she's on it. Fantastic, Yvonne. Anybody want to ask us anything else? It's like having hold music. So I'm going to pop the link in for Vicky's freebie, and her page will also be tagged above the video once we're finished, so that you can go on over and get involved with the stuff that she's doing, because she often posts some great pictures of displays that she's found out and about. I'm going to name and shame them. You didn't, but the co-ops one was really poor on Father's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How pathetic was that?
I know. And that was my local co-op as well, so I didn't really want to name and shame too much in case like the manager came after me or something.
In case you couldn't get your bottle of Prosecco anymore and you were barred.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the world would end. But I'm often seen in around and about with my phone like this, you know, kind of just taking little pictures and stuff. And I got caught in Home Bargains the other day because I was doing a bit of a research project, and about 10 people came up to me and this, you know, staff members, is everything all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm just looking at my list and all this. Really, I was like taking all these pictures. So they knew what I was doing, but actually it was in a positive way, because it was for a blog post about again, sort of trickery and psychology stuff that retailers use to get into your head, that instill kind of confidence in you, that you have in them, and entice you to buy. Because I ended up only going in for one thing to Home Bargains, you know, lighter really. And you know, I was a bit kicking myself, because I was like, oh, how have I fell for this? And when you sort of think back, you can see, you know, I know exactly where I went wrong, because of all the offers and the signs and positioning of product and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So even I fall for it.
And I think it's a good one to actually, and this is across the board, it's a good one to start to be mindful of your own habits and the things that pull you in, and the things that you're likely to fall for, even though you know you're falling for it.
Yes, yeah.
Because
when you can then sort of like think about it and think, oh right, okay, well that's why I did that. That's why I bought that. You know, all these two for £3 offers, or 3 for 2s and things. You know yourself. I mean, you with your free postage. They're just all little things that people now. It's so the odd years ago when I started at Matalan, people are actually really proud to be savvy. So when I first went into buying into discount, people were very embarrassed about being seen in those discount retailers. People were walking out of a Matalan and shoving the carrier bag in another carrier bag because they didn't want to be seen with it. When I was at Home Bargains, we had plain white carrier bags. We didn't put the shop name on the carrier bags because people were like, oh, I'm not admitting that I've been in a discount shop, because there's this snobbery. But actually now it's gone the other way, because people are very much talking about they got a deal, they got a bargain, they've got a discount code, they found this great supplier online, and you know, actually people are really talking about where they shop, and sharing, and word of mouth kicks in. So it's a really different playing field than it was 20 years ago. Totally. With even down to food, with your Aldis and your Lidls, and you know, it's all shoppers are more prepared to admit their savviness, I think. Yes.
Anne said, how do we increase footfall? Got any top tips for getting them bums through the doors?
For her shop, it is about creating nice displays. I think, I can't remember if she's got a shop window or not, if she's the lady with the shop window, I can't remember. But if you've got a shop window, you need to be changing your displays in the window at least once a week, using graphics in your window if you've got, you know, offers on, and make it nice and clear, or even on like your door. For Anne, who's in a sort of a lovely location, very community based, it would be jumping on a lot of the Facebook pages, you know, like the local network pages, and tourist things as well for where she is. It would be about sort of offering, opening up and sort of telling people come to me, and she wants the kind of, she's in sort of passing trade to people who come into the village to do the last of the summer wine tour and stuff like that. So yeah, it is just about making sure that customers know what they're going to find when they get inside your store. So show them pictures of inside your store, show them pictures of your new lovely displays, show them pictures of your, you know, even outside your store, of your staff behind the scenes. It is just about, so they know what to expect before they've even got in there. They feel familiar with you, and you're building up that know, like, and trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I suppose there are other ways that you can do it, with little special events every now and again. You know, she could do a Bubbles and Bubbles night. Yes, yeah. And get your girlfriend to come round with your glass of Prosecco, and you know, offer a glass of bubbles to come and buy some bubbles.
Yes, yeah, and things like craft fairs, craft events, working with like local school PTAs and things. They're always looking to create to put on a night. I mean, at our school PTA, we did a ladies' night. Did a lot of local businesses, and for 10 quid, 15 quid, whatever we charge to have a stall. Once you get that, you know, gaggle of women inside that church hall, they're you know, you've got a captured audience, and they do want to sell, they do want to buy, but also it's making sure they've got a little card, so they know where your shop is, so they'll come and call on you. You could give them a bit of a discount code for calling in. Yeah, there's loads of stuff you can do,
and give them a glass of prosecco, and they'll be much more willing.
Anybody, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so I think that's all of our questions covered. It was lovely to spend a bit of time with you this morning. I will make sure that all of the links are there, and the recording is available. So if you are watching the recording, please do pop any questions that you have in, and Vicky will come back when she's got a moment and answer any additional questions, won't you, darling?
I will, yes. And yeah, sorry about the techno wobble earlier today. I don't know what went wrong with my camera, but you know, I'm sat here with a bit of a makeshift desk and my iPad. And
we got there in the end. It all worked out.
We did.
It'll be read. So thank you so much for spending the time with us today, and thank you everybody for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.